Monster Hunter World introduced some brand new monsters, and here are some of my favorite new monsters that debuted in Monster Hunter World. Spoilers ahead, so be warned. I'm also having a difficult time numbering them, so these aren't really in any particular order, but just rather 5 monsters that I really enjoy overall. I don't know what it is about Odegardon, but he's a really cool monster in my opinion. I'd put him a step above Pookie Pookie and Rockbird because, while I do like those monsters and their designs, Odegardon could serve as a wall to new hunters. He's a wolf-type monster that looks like he doesn't have any skin, and he's fast. He's damn fast. He's really an appropriate challenge when you first fight him, and personally, I used his full set for a while I was in low rank because, let's be honest, it looked awesome. He has all these jumping attacks and flails, but to be honest, there's not really anything out of the ordinary or extraordinary about him, but he's just fun to fight in my opinion. He's fun to fight and wail on as his awesome music plays. I'm still convinced that Paluma is Altaria in disguise, and that Monster Hunter is just a front for post-apocalyptic Pokemon. But really though, props to the design team with Paluma, because at one moment he's adorable, and the next moment you might be going to the doctor concerned that you picked up rabies. I don't know that we really had a bat balloon type monster like this before. He's way easier to hit than stupid Legiana and Rathalos too, who sit in the air for 10 minutes at a time. I believe that this guy was inspired by one of the many types of birds that can inflate, for lack of a better word. Sort of like frigate birds, or these things called bustards, mixed with like a lemur or a squirrel and a bat. I don't know. This thing is just so many animals combined into one. It's kind of cool. And his armor turns you into a pilot. How nifty is that? For some reason, I think Valle Hazaki is actually one of my favorite fights in the game. I like the straightforward nature of him and his environment. He's just simply a stinky dragon that feeds off the smell of rotting corpses. He's like a fungus, basically the most metal monster in all of World. His gimmick or ability is to just straight remove half your health bar if you spend too much time in his aura. So make sure you bring those nullberries. I don't particularly like the Rotten Vale where Val spends most of his time, but I will say I was almost disturbed when he started rolling out of a pile of bones during his intro sequence. Look at this guy and tell me he's not the cutest little bugger ever. He's like the marshmallow shark, aka Zamtrios, of World, except his face is filled with boiling magma and he can do 80% of your health by spitting rocks on you. Again, I'm going to look at the intro cinematic for justification here. Look at his little beady eyes just staring at you. He's like,
just turn around, McFly, and walk away.
He's one of the few monsters in World that can inflict blast, and he sort of acts like a fat, slow Tigrex. Definitely a highlight in my book. Man, this thing is just straight up alien. Look at the shape of his head and what color it is. Look at how it shoots laser beams, for crying out loud. But I'll say, this is just a really epic fight that serves as a wonderful send-off to the story. It really came out of nowhere too. Like, as a player, you might have known that you're closing in on the end of the game, and then you get to the center of the Elder's Recess or whatever, or wherever this thing is, laying dormant, and it straight up hatches out of a crystal and goes postal on you. Finishing this fight felt like it was a triumph, and the music was spot on too. Not to mention that this armor is probably my favorite armor design in World. I've never really enjoyed Teostra. I remember the days when his supernova would kill me every other time, and I had to remember to run away. I remember bouncing off of him repeatedly, but for some reason in World, he's just really fun to fight. I think the reason that I enjoy him is because it's a little bit easier to telegraph his attacks, and I just end up enjoying the fight that much more because of it. Also, all of those particle effects that make my PS4 chug are actually really, really pretty, and his music is awesome. When I saw Urgon for the first time come out of nowhere in this game, I audibly sighed. I'd like to know why Urgon, of all the monsters that they could have picked and imported into this beautiful game, why Urgon? Like, really, just why Urgon, Capcom? Actually, I think I know exactly why. Radobon. Radobon is almost a one-for-one clone of Urgon, but with more breakables. I think that's why he's in this game. It was just easier for them to make Radobon and Urgon in the same game because they're so similar. But despite their similarities, Radobon is clearly the superior monster between the two. At least breaking the bones off of his body feels satisfying, unlike just bouncing off Urgon and having him put me to sleep. Nargacuga and Zinogre are pretty much two of the most iconic monsters in Monster Hunter. Besides the ever-present I Don't Miss a Single Game Rathian and Rathalos, yet they're nowhere to be found in World. I feel like Nargacuga would be a less annoying Tobi Kadachi, and Zinogre, it's not really like any other monster except maybe Odegardon, but that's more of like a body shape thing. Also, where's my Brachydios? Where's my Nectar? You know what, just bring over every single monster ever. This was a hard list to come up with because there's only like 15 new monsters and half of them are just not very interesting. Like, Great Gyros, why do you even exist? Let me know what your favorite monsters are down in the comments, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Shout out to the patrons and the Twitch subs. I'll catch you all later. Peace!